Good afternoon everybody, hope you're all doing well. So we are heading out on our first afternoon drive with Storm over here, and we are going to head out looking for whatever we can find. It's our first afternoon out, maybe go along the river and see if there's some elephants that was seen kind of along the river this afternoon, and there was reports of a cheetah as well, so let's see what we can find this afternoon. Looking forward to it. Very lucky, as planned, coming along the river. Just bumped into a herd of elephants. It looks like they might be going down to the river. We're gonna loop around and see if we get a better view of them. But this is not even 5 minutes out of the lodge, so hopefully this is a sign of good things to come. Stay tuned. So we're quite fortunate. We just came across the single elephant bull, and I guess the amazing thing about being out in the bush is that you never know what's around the next corner. And as luck might have it, we were following this elephant bull, and then Storm said, "Oh, there's a whole herd on the other side of the river." So this is turning out to be an incredible afternoon already. 10 minutes out of the lodge, very, very special. It's quite a big herd on the other side of the river there. There's probably a good 20-25 individuals. And not uncommon to find a young bull like this on its own. He might be trailing this herd. It's definitely a breeding herd, of what we would call a breeding herd, so number of different females with a lot of calves in between. You can see all the little ones in there, and it looks like there's a big male trailing this herd. The male that we saw, this bull that we saw in the road, is not the biggest individual in the world, but staying close to the herd, so maybe there is a female that's maybe an estrus. But beautiful to see. Big herd like this just crossed over the Sabi River. Very special. 10 minutes out of the lodge. What a way to start. Driving along the Sabi River here, we just spotted an African fish eagle being harassed by, it looked like a blacksmith lapwing, and we're just going to see if we can maybe get a glimpse of him. It's obviously a beautiful eagle, very kind of quintessential bird species that you see on safari in Africa, so we're going to try and see if we can find it. It's a great area for bird life along the Sabi River. There he is, perched way in the distance there. Let's see if I can get a shot. We just managed to have actually quite an incredible sighting of a male and female fish eagle just on the other side of the Sabi River. And we saw them earlier kind of flying down, being harassed by these lapwings, and eventually managed to get a glimpse of them. And what actually happened was that they mated, which is quite a unique scenario to see, quite special. And then following that, both of them calling. They've got a very unique kind of courtship calling display where they flip their heads back. It looks quite strange, but the call is beautiful. Its Latin name is called Teleatus vocifera, which actually means beautiful call, and the sound really is testament to that. pretty special. So we came across quite an interesting situation or scenario here. This looks like a female baboon is feeding on one of the Cagelia sausage tree's fruits, and it's quite a hard outer shell of that fruit, and it's quite heavy. So it's amazing to watch this baboon trying to figure out a way how to get into this fruit. Not the most edible of fruits out there, especially not for humans, but there's that old saying, if you see a baboon feeding on something, it's probably not something you should feed on. They've got quite a strong digestive system and can get certain toxic aspects that come from fruits and other plants through their system much easier than people would. But quite nice to see. It's something a little bit different. So early on in the drive we came across that elephant bull, and you would have seen that he was moving towards a Cagelia or sausage tree, and they do tend to like to feed off this species of tree, especially now the leaves are quite nice and lush. I also try to strip the bark off it, but if I'm just going to turn around, you can see this big branch that is broken off. Right over there. And we often forget that elephants, even though they cause a lot of destruction, they also help other animals. So by breaking off that branch, the branch becomes lower to the ground. There's a little bit of foliage still on those branches for the browsing animals who would not be able to get up to this tree to now feed. And obviously with the branch broken off like that, there's a lot of these fruits that fall down. Now, again, it's not the most edible of fruits, but animals like baboons, even though they can go up the tree, it's now less effort for them to get to a resource. So it's just a way nature connects everything, and animals kind of involuntarily help one another. Okay, but we're still along the Sabi River. From here we're going to cut off and see if we're going to head to a big open area and see if we can't find any sign of a female cheetah that was being reported this morning. Now, cheetahs in this specific area in the Sabi Sand is not a very common occurrence, like in our other property at Marataba. There's quite an abundance of cheetah there. In the Sabi Sand specifically, it's quite a predator-rich and dense area, specifically leopards. It's got one of the most dense leopard populations in the world, and also very good lion viewing. And a cheetah is fairly low on the ranking order when it comes to predators. So cheetahs tend not to do well in very predator-dense areas like the Sabi Sand. But we do see them from time to time. So maybe a little bit later this afternoon we can show you some footage of a cheetah. That's at least the plan for this afternoon, but like we all know in nature, plans can change pretty quickly. So let's see, stay tuned. We just...
You are welcome to.
One of the guys just called in quite a large elephant bull that's just around the corner here. So let's go and see. It's always nice to see a big bull. We saw that herd earlier this afternoon. But let's see, there's two vehicles here, so it must be quite an impressive individual. So it's quite a big individual. Don't get to see a lot of big tusker bulls anymore. There's that genetic line is kind of been dimmed down a little bit, but this specific individual is quite a sizable bull elephant, right in his prime. It's always very difficult to age an elephant, but definitely 40 years if I would have to fathom a guess, give or take. But quite a beautiful specimen to see. that was quite a nice sighting of this big elephant bull. He's still just relaxing down on the drainage line there, and it's quite common to find these very large old bulls down by the river or drainage lines. Generally, the vegetation that grow closer to the water is a little bit softer, and the older these elephant bulls get, the more worn down their teeth become. They only have a specific amount of, or sets of molars throughout their life, and you often find these big bulls along these drainage lines where the softer foliage is for them to feed on. Especially now, just going into summer, and that's kind of where the greenery starts, from the drainage lines. Great, let's see what else we can find. Okay, so we have just had a very incredible afternoon. We had some incredible birding. We saw fish eagles mating and calling at the same time. We had some beautiful elephant sightings, including a massive bull. So it's been a great afternoon, and what better way to end the afternoon with a sundowner. Well, a little bit of a sundowner. It's a bit overcast, but it's still going to be a good one.